In Fresnel biprism, you have to draw first principal axis. So it is about 10 centimeter long line, and then you have to form a screen at the end, and then at this point you have to draw a biprism. What is biprism? Biprism is two thin prisms connected to each other by their bases. So we have to draw 2 centimeter above and 2 centimeter below line. This is straight line, and you have to measure exactly the same distance above and same distance below, and then you have to connect this lower end to the principal axis to form first prism, and then upper end to this point to get a second prism. So now these two prisms are connected to each other, so it will form a biprism. This is our screen, and now real source is placed here. So this is our real source S. So from this real source you should first draw the very faint line perpendicular to the principal axis. So this should be a very faint line, and then from the source, real source, to the almost the extreme end, just 1 or 2 mm below, you have to draw this line connecting the extreme points, almost extreme points. At the same point you have to draw the line from real source to almost touching extreme end of the prism. It should not touch the exact end, it is touching approximate end of the prism. And then you have to draw a parallel line. So parallel line from this end to the principal axis, it should be parallel. Similarly, you have to draw this line, it should be parallel to the principal axis, and then extend the line with a dotted line below the prism. Similarly, you have to draw this dotted line to get virtual sources S1 and S2. So S1 and S2 are our virtual sources. This should be virtual source 1, virtual source 2. Then from real source at the exact end, you have to draw the second line. But first, make sure that S1, from S1 to the lower end of the screen, you are getting a straight line vision. So from S1 to this lower end of the line on the screen, we have to draw this straight line. So for that, we have to draw a straight line with a solid line and then dotted line up to this point. Again, from S2 to the upper end, we have to draw the exact same line. It should meet on this principal axis. So the dotted line up to the biprism, and then solid line from this biprism connecting the upper end. Then we have to connect this real source to this central line, and similarly from real source to the central line on the lower side. So we are getting two rays in upper direction, two rays in lower direction. One ray is parallel in upper direction, another ray parallel to principal axis in lower direction, and then diverges on the screen to form interference pattern. So at this point you will get the interference pattern on the screen. So now S1, S2 are virtual sources, and their distance is small d distance. So the distance between S1 and S2 is our small d distance. So this should be small d distance. And the distance between actual sources to the screen, this distance is capital D distance. So from screen and virtual source, this distance is our capital D distance. And remember, this distance capital D is in meter and small d is in millimeter. So always remember to check the arrows. We have drawn arrows to real rays only, not for dotted rays. So now our diagram is complete.